Might be safer. Oh, it
And
like told me.
I told you. Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And we're on. Welcome everybody to the Couro Pod number 4. No, this is number 5.
Mini
5.
pod
Quick little
number
mini pod.
one. Pod. Yeah.
Yeah, mini pod number 1. That's right. We're doing a quick one today because we're going to do one a little bit later with a surprise guest. But today we wanted to do a quick one. This is also our first virtual pod because Zach is not next to me. He's actually in San Diego.
Living it up. Sunny. Beautiful weather down here. It's great. It's awesome. No complaints.
Mm. Well, I'm jealous. I'm very jealous. It was a nice foggy 60 degrees in San Francisco today, I believe, at least where I am. So I could use some of that
Told him
sun.
that I told Cam to move down with me. Take a
Aha.
train.
Aha. We had to separate paths like Naruto and Sasuke, for those who know. Anyways, so yeah, so we thought that today we would do a little quick mini pod, also test out the Zoom functions and all. But we were going to do something. We were going to just talk about, kind of our supplements and vitamins that we take, and just kind of talk about the whole idea of trying to get all of the vitamins and supplements and nourishment that you need as an athlete, and what we know other athletes do, and just kind of give our opinions and potentially advice, not medical advice, but advice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you always hear, I mean, I can't say always, but if you're following closely with an athlete, you might be tuned into stuff they're doing for recovery. Vitamins and supplements can go kind of along with that. I'd say they're probably best used as like a tool to help and aid in recovery and injury prevention, stuff like that. But yeah, so I don't really take any vitamins or supplements.
Mm.
Pretty much the one thing I do sporadically is I take a vitamin C tablet,
Oh,
uh,
interesting.
just if I'm feeling like a little sluggish. But that's kind of all I do. I have some, back in college, I would uh, take base chain amino acids before workouts, which are kind of designed to uh,
Mm-hmm.
amino acids will help like muscle recovery, muscle growth. Uh, if you look at base chain amino acids in general and as a supplement, they do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
There's there's some stuff here and there about whether they're super effective or not. Um, but you know, I think as an athlete standpoint, there's also the almost like a placebo effect involved.
Totally.
With yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we can. So you have a routine. I think
Yeah.
it'd probably be better for other for our viewers to actually have something to go on about some vitamins, things to look out for.
Mm-hmm. Sure, sure. So I take a couple things. Um let's see, I'll just go through it. Like I take omega oils. I think it's omega-6 oils. It's similar to fish oils, but for those who didn't know, I don't eat meat. So I figured fish oils are kind of similar to meat. So I just went with the omega-6 oils, which don't have fish in them. But I don't know how big of a difference that is. So, fish oil is basically, it's good for your brain, good for a lot of different things. And so I take that generally. I also take this powder called Athletic Greens. I love it. Take it in the morning. Um, they say that they're supposed to give you all of your daily vitamins if you eat on a 2,500 calorie diet, I believe. So, it depends on what time of the season you're in. Uh, right, because 2,500 calories is probably not enough if you're training as hard as Zach does. Um, I'm,
Or
or
Cam will in a few weeks when he's back from his from his trip.
Man, I can't wait. Can't wait to get back to the track. But anyways, yeah, so like athletic greens, I don't have the actual like um dietary explanation with me because I usually throw that away and just put it in a nice little box. But it's a green powder. You just scoop one in, and so it's got your vitamin C, it's got your like most of your vitamins, vitamin K, all that stuff. And it has a few other things, and so I take it in the morning, and it's really nice, it's like a nice wake up type like drink. That it'll hydrate you. You kind of have a nice solid base as you start in your day. And
Hmm.
so that's how I'll start. So I take that, I take the amino acids, I take vitamin D because most people are vitamin D deficient, especially
Hmm.
members of the Black community. So I definitely take vitamin D. What else do I take? So it like before working out, I'll take BCAA, uh, branch
Base chain
chain.
amino acids.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's
Yep.
that's exactly what you do. Yeah, yeah. Um, oh, so I'll do like the pills first, and then I'll go to the powders, I guess. So yeah, the BCAAs and like the little pills. I used to do creatine pills, but I don't do creatine anymore. I've heard conflicting evidence on it, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in a minute on that because I'm just not really sure. But yeah, hold on. Let me put my do not disturb on. Did you hear that, by the way? You did?
No,
Oh
no,
no?
no,
Okay. Never
no.
mind then. Great. So I take that. And then I take uh they're basically like little hydration tablets. They're like what are they called? Shoot. I can't remember exactly, but they're basically like, have you ever seen those little packets that have, like basically these little salt tablets that will hydrate you?
I can't say that I have actually.
Oh, okay. So I actually learned about them from college. And so they're basically they come in like this little like small packets, and they're more or less salt tablets. Um just they just work to hydrate you. And so I do that in the
Oh, so
morning.
like an electrolyte tablet.
Yeah, more or less like an electrolyte pills, tablets. I take them just to because I don't drink enough water. And so I
Hmm.
try very hard to um or I just know I don't because I'm just bad at it. And so those little things I think help in the morning, especially because I have a full day ahead of me, and I really like to just get all of my stuff out of the way,
Hmm.
like whatever I need to get, because it's really hard to get all of your vitamins from the food you eat unless you have a very diverse food set, which I do not yet. um
Well, I
okay,
mean, being a vegetarian, I'm sure you eat like a lot of greens and a lot of,
it's true.
colorful food. They always say colorful food is the best like diet to
Hmm.
have just because it's gonna have a wider array of minerals and vitamins and stuff like that.
It's true, but because I'm vegetarian, I have to have all these supplements. Like I don't get B12 is a big one.
Mm.
I don't get that, which a lot of people get from meat, particularly red meat. And so I take B12 supplements because one, there some people say like, oh, like if you don't take those and you're vegetarian, you'll be sad. And so something about not having those B12, that B12 in your system makes you feel sad or low or tired. And so I take that supplement too. And that's actually in athletic greens, but I probably take more vitamins than I need. But I just really try to make
Yeah.
sure I have all my things covered. Um, and then I will take for like my little drink. I have the athletic greens. I have L-theanine, which is amino acid. So it's I'm not sure if it's in BCAA. I don't think so particularly, but L-theanine is like a vasodilator. So that means that it helps with your blood flow, right? So like kind of like recovery, kind of like just making sure that you have good blood flow in general. And I'm looking up like it has a bunch of other things that I didn't even know. It boosts your GABA and other calming brain chemicals and helps with
Mm.
your alpha brain waves, but I didn't even know those things. I was just doing it for the vasodilation. Um, and I also have
Yeah.
beetroot. I also use beetroot powder. One because it
I've
makes my drink
heard.
taste better,
Yeah.
because otherwise it tastes not
Yeah.
great. But the beetroot
Interesting. I've always
powder,
heard that. beets taste like dirt, so that's interesting.
Oh,
You just the
mine tastes like
flavor.
cherry, so it must have some extra
Uh,
additives, which
yeah.
maybe not that great for me, but I do like that one, that taste. And so I'll mix all that up together. Um and then I have this I like go off and on this one just because I have to order it online. I don't really remember to get it all the time. But it's like a it's for bone support, such with the C, but I can't remember what it's called right now. Um, you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, bone health. The only thing I think of is like a calcium supplement.
No, it's not calcium. Shoot. I should have brought it up,
All
but
I got.
yeah, sorry, listeners. I can't quite remember exactly what it's called. Collagen.
Oh, collagen. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I take
yeah.
collagen as well. And
Bone, hair,
so
and nails.
right, exactly. So I take all of those things, and it kind of looks like a lot of pills. When I take them, just because it's a lot of different things, but I'm used to it now, and I think my body's used to it now, and so when I don't take them, I like, let's say if I'm traveling or something, I don't want to like travel with a bunch of pills, right? So so I often won't, and like I notice a difference. It just takes me a little bit longer to get into my groove in the day. I need maybe another extra cup of coffee in the morning or in the afternoon. I'm just like not really in my normal flow, because usually I'm like a one coffee a day type of guy. But
Mm,
when I don't take my vitamins, I'm like a two, maybe three if I'm really struggling. So um that's that's those are the vitamins that I take. And like I recommend at least the athletic greens because it's a good base for you. It's not that cheap, so there are other green superfood type powders that you can get. I've tried a bunch, and one, they all taste kind of bad. Sorry if one is going to sponsor us in the future. um but yeah, they all don't taste great, and athletic greens has is the most robust of all of them. So
sure.
I like them. And so if I was to recommend with just one thing, I'd recommend that. You're covering a lot of your bases. um yeah, but another thing I take, I guess, is protein powder. um that's like a separate thing. I don't combine that with the other drinks. I try to have
That's a,
two. If I'm good, I'll have two protein shakes a day. One in the morning ish, like kind of with my meal, and then like my breakfast, and then one at night with my dinner ish, because I just want to make sure that I get enough protein as well. Well, people ask me all the time, where do you get your protein from? And I'm like, man, I try. There's protein in a lot of different things that you can eat. However, like making sure that you are targeted about getting all of the vitamins, minerals, proteins that you need to support your body when you're pushing it to the limit is key, because if you're deficient in something, it's not going to show up tomorrow. It's going to show up, weeks from now when you get an injury, or it's going to show up in a meet when you don't perform as well and you're wondering why you're so gassed, things like that.
right.
And so like you really want to treat your body right, because you only most people only three times a day in a robust way, and so that it's pretty hard to get all the things that you need in those small like three meals, right? And so you know take your vitamins, people.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, all the supplements and vitamins that you've talked about, I can absolutely see being useful for an athlete. Just kind of making sure that you're kind of covering your bases. And you definitely have me thinking that, man, I gotta step my game up and
Yeah,
just
man.
have more than just like a vitamin C tablet. And then, yeah, I mean, my whole vitamins to me is it's kind of like unventured territory. Like
Mm,
I haven't really got myself ever on like a schedule of taking vitamins. I was a lot better when I was taking like protein powder,
hmm
creatine, BCAAs, like in high school and college. I was much better about that because it kind of is a little bit easier to, I guess, work into a schedule. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, for me, vitamins is something that I can definitely see being useful. I know there's like a, I know that it's kind of like weird territory because there's some brands out there that try to push like miracle, like, oh, take this supplement and it's got all these vitamins and it's got all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff that's going to help you be a better athlete, and then they don't actually do all that. So I'm a
Right.
little skeptical on supplements in general. I mean, like I said, like I was pretty big on protein and creatine, and then base chain amino acids and kind of doing all that stuff. But there's definitely something to say about some of the benefits for those.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mainly when I used protein powder and creatine, I was trying to put on weight. I was like, 6'4", 150 pounds in high school. Um, Over the course of a few months, working out every day, and then taking protein and creatine at the same time, and kind of learning how to like kind of cycle those supplements. I was able to gain like about 15, 20 pounds from that,
Oh wow.
um,
Right on.
which was, you know, if you see me now, I'm not absolutely like a shredded person. It's all lean, but it does go a long way. That it can definitely help you if you're using them well, I would say. But just the main thing with like supplements is I would say just like do your research, kind of
Right.
know what you're looking to get out of it, and find something that kind of might help you along with your goals. Because at the end of the day, like you don't want to put a bunch of money into a million types of supplements and then they kind of sit in your drawer and you don't use them. I think Cam, like your schedule, it seems like really awesome that
Mm-hmm.
you have like a set plan of like when you wake up in the morning, you go about your vitamins, your supplements, you do your protein shakes throughout the day. It's due diligence because you are vegetarian. It's I think that's like a huge factor in all this is like, don't go buy tons of supplements and vitamins and just kind of let them sit around, kind of like what I
Totally.
have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, there are definitely benefits. I mean, base chain amino acids can be great for recovery after workouts. It can help stimulate muscle growth and kind of like the repairs that your muscles go through. Creatine is kind of the same way. Creatine is interesting because it performs best in cycles.
Yeah.
So you figure out what kind of cycle works for you as far as you can do like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off kind of thing. Um, I've heard that like kind of like microdosing creatine can help kind of work up to it. So using it as like a main supplement.
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's base chain amino acids and creatine to me are, and this is not a ton of research, so please don't like crucify me on this one, but like I've always found and things that I've heard from friends and from online stuff is a lot of that stuff is really good when paired with other things.
Oh, interesting.
If you are working out and you're just taking like creatine, you know, uh, you might see adverse reactions. You might see results not in the way that you want to see them. So like find out what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's
Yeah.
kind of my stance on it. Is just find what works.
And I think, being curious about a lot of these is good. And what you said about making sure to do your research is important because not only do you want to do your research to make sure that it's safe for you, because there's a lot of supplements out there, and maybe they have one doctor who said it's okay, but make sure that that doctor isn't getting paid by them, right? Things like that. And another thing is also like, what do you want from it, right? Like, what's the goal for what is your goal for yourself, and then why are you taking, say, like BCAA, or why are you taking something like creatine, right? If you're trying to gain muscle, maybe it's good to take creatine. It's going to dry you out. You're going to be really, you need to drink a lot of water on it, things like that. And so you got to be clear about the side effects. um but
Mhm.
like, you know, being clear about what your goal is from those things is key, so that you know why you're taking it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you should know what goes into your body as an athlete, because you know your body is your craft. And one thing I forgot to mention actually is adaptogens. I've been really lazy. I haven't gotten them in a couple weeks. That's why I forgot about them. But adaptogens, I really like on paper what they have to say. Who knows really what what the impact is, because I haven't done a self-analysis where I take them for 4 weeks and then I don't take them for 4 weeks and I see if there's a difference, right? I haven't done that, which would be an interesting study on myself. Maybe
Time
I'll
is
do that. But
time is crucial too when you're
I
training like we
know.
are. I mean,
Yeah,
we're in
totally.
these cycles where you might not have 4 weeks to do
Hmm.
something like that. You kind of have to rely on people's reviews, and maybe if you
Totally.
find like a scholarly article out there.
Right, right. But yeah, so adaptogens, I just want to talk a little bit about them. They're like mainly mushrooms, like it's like a mushroom powder,
Mm,
non-psychedelic, of course. But so they're like, you can take them in pill form, and they're supposed to help your body adjust to physical, chemical, or biological stress. And so it's supposed to help you stay into a state of homeostasis. So like if you're training hard and you use adaptogens, you know, you won't your body will be able to manage the stress better, allegedly, depending on the body, because everybody's different, and there may even be people who are allergic to these things, right? But
mm,
but you also got to be careful, because the FDA does not regulate in general supplements as much as it regulates like food, or drugs, because it doesn't consider supplements drugs, which is something that I learned this morning when I looked this up. I was like, that's crazy. So
yeah.
a lot of this stuff is not
Fun
FDA
fact about that.
regulated. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say fun fact about that. You can look on the back of if you look on the back of a vitamin
Hmm.
thing and you look at like the facts about it, vitamins will say like or food will say nutrition facts, I believe. Yeah, nutrition facts, and
Hmm.
vitamins will say, I think, supplement facts or something
Uh,
different. So that's how
hmm.
you know if it's classified as food or as a drug.
Interesting.
Hold on, let me use my ibuprofen bottle here. Drug facts. So if it's nutrition facts, it's regulated as food. If it's drug facts, obviously it's regulated as a drug.
And supplement facts as a supplement. How interesting. But yeah, so you know, a lot of this stuff may not be regulated by the FDA or approved by the. Oh, what do you got there?
Yeah. So my vitamin C says supplement facts. So there's
Ah,
nutrition, supplement, and then drug facts. So if
right.
you're ever curious, watchers, listeners, wherever this is going to be, you can always look and see on the bottle, what exactly it is classified as.
Hmm.
Not to derail, I just want to throw out that fact that I knew.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Anyway,
So
Cam, like you were saying,
be sure to, you know, like before you buy anything, just throw it in Google, or your favorite search engine if that's not Google. And yeah, right. And look it up, you know, make sure that there hasn't been recalled, or there are no harmful chemicals or metals in there that might have long-term effects that you don't want. Things like that. You know, just
see
do your
where
due
it's sourced
diligence
from.
there. Exactly. Yeah, where is it sourced from? Those things are important too. Because interesting things that have happened, maybe I shouldn't say interesting, but unfortunate things that have happened to athletes, are that athletes, so that you can be buying a supplement. Let's say you're buying supplement X, because I don't want to get sued for saying the actual supplement. Um, but let's say you were buying supplement X, right? And and it was made at this big manufacturer plant. At this big manufacturer plant that makes supplements, they might also have supplement Y, right? And the supplement Y might be banned by WADA. But It might
Mm,
it might have a, some sort of other benefit to someone who might not be a professional athlete. Um, right, and they make them at the same place, so sometimes they use the same materials to make them, and so some of the residue, parts per million, very small, right, but can commingle, right, and when it commingles, you can have contaminated batches, which means that you
hmm
can actually test positive for things that are banned without actually taking them because of a supplement that you took that happened to be sourced from this factory. And this is, some athletes have alleged that this is what's happened, and maybe it did happen, maybe it didn't. It's really hard to know, and so being sure to know where your stuff is sourced from, to make sure that that doesn't happen at those factories, is helpful. It's really hard to know, I mean, to be honest, but it's important to know that that's something that can happen, and it might be very rare, but you don't want to be that one rare case, right? And so, you know enter these arenas with the knowledge that these are things that may happen to you. And
Right.
that's not just
Yeah.
with supplements, right? That's with all drugs, right? So I mean, that might
That's
happen
yeah.
with other drugs as well that you take. So, these are things that happen. The world is interconnected. It's just the way we live. And so there are athletes that have alleged that they did nothing wrong, but they just happened to take a supplement that was made at a factory, that makes other things. Again, I don't want to get sued, and because it's all alleged, but
Yeah, that's I mean that comes down to part of like do your due diligence. I mean, if you are wanting to reap the benefits of these products, there's a whole world out there, and I think it's worth looking into. Or you could be a caveman like me, and
Mm,
like I yeah, I don't really have too many excuses as to why, besides the fact that I'm just kind of poor, that I don't take supplements. Um,
mm,
but to me, I was kind of thinking about this today because we kind of had this topic. I've had this topic on my mind for a little bit since Cam kind of introduced it to me. Uh, to me, supplements are supposed to aid in recovery, in muscle health, and uh, maybe just like a little bit of like a psychosomatic feeling good about stuff. So on my end, I try to take care of those things, uh, just kind of like on my own, not purposely so I can avoid supplements. It's just kind of part of being an athlete, I think, is, making sure that you recover well, making
mhm,
sure that you're eating right, making sure that, you're checking as many boxes as you can. And then there's probably some boxes that I could check with supplements and with like a better vitamin intake. Um, but yeah, I was just kind of thinking about it today of like, well, what do supplements do? Am I okay not supplements? Should I take supplements? Kind of, looking at as like a critical lens, saying this stuff about myself. Um, and yeah, that's kind of like the area that I kind of got to was, uh, well, do I recover well? Yeah, I recover pretty well. Uh, do I take care of my muscles? For the most part, I think so.
mhm.
Could I be a bit better on it? Yeah, I probably could. And that's probably where the line is for me of like I could probably introduce some vitamins and supplements to, increase my uh just bodily uh function, I guess. So just kind of, making sure that as an athlete everything is being taken care of.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I have a stance on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's little things like something like 44% of Americans, um, in one study, apparently, 44% of Americans in 2018 were deficient in vitamin D, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that is who knows what the number is now in 2022. I mean, you're outside a lot because you're training. So it's, maybe you're higher, but I mean, that's an easy one. I think that vitamin D is like an important one to take. Vitamin B is important. C is also important, but you already taking that one. Like, vitamins A through E, I think, are like pretty low hanging fruit as far as, you
Mm.
know, like vitamins you could take that are easy, like cheap, and you know, like can have quick positive impacts for you. You know, like the L-theanine one, that's like, you know, out there, I think, you know, and like adaptogens
You
might be
do some
out there as
research
well.
to get there.
Yeah, I did do the research to get there. If anyone's interested in getting more research, there's a great Stanford professor who has a podcast. I think his name's Andrew Huberman, something like that. Um, he's a Stanford professor. He's got his podcast is called the Huberman Lab, something like that. If you can, you know, type it based upon that general name, you'll find it. Stanford professor, vitamins, Huberman Lab. You'll definitely find it, and he talks a lot about different ways to maximize on your body
Mm.
potential. You know, and so he's always talking about the type of stuff. You know, whether he just did one on alcohol, and like basically, I was like, man, like alcohol is so bad for you. So bad for you
So
athletically.
bad. So bad.
Yeah, right. But it's good to be able to make the decisions with some sort of knowledge. And so he,
Mm.
like, you know, he is constantly churning out these things, and he's got one on vitamins, he's got me thinking that I should try I should try a hyperbaric chamber. Do you know what that
Oh
is?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like below zero temperatures.
oh, no, it's like a well, maybe it's
Oh, it's
cold
a
too.
cryo. Sorry, it's a cryo.
That's cryo. No, yeah, cryo's crazy.
Yeah.
I've tried it. I don't know. I like ice baths better personally, but the hyperbaric chamber is where like it's like being at altitude, right? And
Oh.
so a lot of people, I saw some crazy stat. Who knows if this is true, but 75% of the Olympians in 2016, I guess, trained in hyperbaric chambers. I was like, dang, you know, like these things aren't like coming off the street. It's very hard to find, right? But
Yeah, and like 30% of those share the same chamber or something crazy,
exactly.
probably.
Yeah. But but I'm curious, I'm interested, and so if I can get my hands on one for cheap, or if I can find like a subscription for a month or something, I'm gonna try and see it. So to our loyal listeners, I'm gonna run a personal study, and we'll see if I can heal faster, or something, because it's supposed to increase your
Superhuman.
yeah, right. It's supposed to increase your red blood cell count and your hemoglobin, and you're supposed to be able to like your exhaustion level will, you know, increase, whatever that means to for you
Yeah, so
individually.
it's kind of like altitude training
Hmm.
in general,
Well, it's better because
right?
you
Better.
like sleep high, train low, I think is what they say. And so like you do it when you
Hmm.
sleep, and so it's like when you're sleeping, it's like you're at altitude, but then when you train, you're at, you know, whatever your regular level, sea level for me, basically for us, basically. And
Same.
so you after a few weeks, you should be able to get some sort of like added benefit, because it's like most like in a third of your day you are at altitude essentially, but not when you're training. um and so I'm gonna see if I can find one, you know, that's available. I'm gonna see, and we'll see what the benefits are, and then if it's great, I'll bring it to the pod. If it's not, then I'll be injured longer, you know. But you
Well,
know,
yeah.
like I'm on the like far end of willingness to try things, because I'm just like very curious about all these like new little scientific gadgets and whatnot. Um,
Mm.
but these are things I don't take lightly. I do some research before I just hop in, but also, you know, like being willing to hop in on things that won't hurt you, I think are good. So like a hyperbaric chamber, I'd try before I would try supplements, you know, because I'm not like putting, you know, like unknown materials in my body. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's yeah, it's just like a it's interesting how much stuff is out there. You know, what
a lot. Right.
as an athlete, trying to aim for like the best you can be, like you don't want to leave things out on the table by any means. Like that's, I'm sure it's the same mentality you have that I do, where it's like I don't want to leave anything on the table.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a good jump, it's like my first thought is like, okay, what can I do to be better? Like,
Right.
is that really all I could give right now, or did I just, how do I feel about that? And so it's always like as an athlete, I'm sure there's a lot of other people who have that shared mentality of being like, what can I do to like be even better, and not leave something unknown. So
Right.
yeah,
And
it's
and
always
it's hard to know.
interesting.
It's hard to know what you don't know, right? It's hard to be on the bleeding edge of technology, as my dad calls it. Like because if you're on the edge, sometimes you bleed, right?
Yeah.
So like it's hard to know what's right to try and what's not. But I like yeah, totally having that itch of like, is this gonna take me to the next level? It's not like against the code, right? WADA, it's not going to hurt you, and maybe it's not expensive, right? Those type of things you might as well try.
Right.
Things like a STEM machine, like you're supposed to do that every night. I at one point did, I don't now, maybe I should more, but things like that are, there's Lando, he's saying hi. It took him a long time to say hi. But yeah, like things like a STEM machine, those are like you can get them for $25 on Amazon,
Mhm.
and that can apparently really help with your muscle recovery. So things like that, even just a good roller. They make rollers that vibrate now. I don't have one, but like I've seen a lot of
One
guys that
day.
do. Yeah, right.
One
Yeah,
day.
yeah. But
I mean, you have
little,
the little massage tool. The
yeah.
uh, you do have that.
Yeah, the little massage gun. That
Mm.
one's a portable one. You told me something interesting. You said that like it doesn't, I don't know, move at the right speed to get to the subdermal level.
I think it's if you're so anyone watching this or viewing this again, fun fact, time again. Uh, I think it has to be a 12 millimeter movement of
Okay.
the piece. 12 millimeters and higher is enough to stimulate deep muscle tissue.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that's less than that is just surface level. And there's a lot of good benefits to having like a surface level thing. Your fascia runs all along your body essentially, and tight fascia, tight muscle.
Mm,
That surface level is good. But if you're looking to get uh, a massage gun, they call them, like a little thing. Something that's important is I'm I'm pretty sure I can look this up, but I'm lazy. I think it's um, I think it's like a 12 millimeter or more movement of the piece is enough to stimulate deep tissue.
I mean, that's important to know. Like little things like that. Like I definitely didn't know when I
Mm-hmm.
got my little massage gun, Theragun thing. I, you
But I
know,
mean, like you use that on like a day of a meet, like
exactly.
you don't want to stimulate the deep muscle. Like
Right.
it's better to do like surface level. I think at least,
Mm-hmm.
I could be totally wrong about this, but as far as I know, like that's why you're not supposed to get like really good massages the day before a meet
I would
or on
never.
meet day.
I would never.
Yeah, so like that warming up the fascia and warming up your muscles on the surface level is probably a little bit better to ease your way into a warm up on the day
Right.
of a meet. But if you're looking for like deep tissue muscle recovery, then you're better off with something that can
Mm-hmm.
actually do like a deep tissue stimulation.
Sure. I guess a pro tip for any jumpers out there. I actually use it on my feet right before I put on my spikes. Um,
Mm.
I just feel like it kind of loosens my feet and I get better foot grip and like better activity off the ground. I've like even done a test at practice. Like I'll like put on my shoes, do my stuff and then take them off, do a massage, then do my stuff, and I feel more active, especially my penultimate step. And that could be placebo. That could just be because I'm later on in my practice. However, I don't care. Um, I don't.
If it
I
works, it works.
Exactly. And I'm all here for the placebo effect. If I can get something that makes me feel ready, I'll do it. Like I chew the same gum uh for meats only, because when I chew the gum, I prime my mind, my body to be like, oh, this taste means it's time to go, basically. And
Well, yeah,
it's not like it's not like special gum. It's just gum flavor I never have elsewhere, like cinnamon gum or
that's
whatever.
that's one of those things where your brain associates
Exactly.
uh like I heard, like if you're back in like college, I think I was reading up on how to like study better.
Yeah.
And they're saying like if you chew a certain type of flavored gum while you're studying, and you chew gum while you're studying, and then you chew the same type of gum when you take the
Hmm.
test, like your brain will like associate the things that you were doing, like in short window span, but like it'll associate those types of things. So that's
Yeah,
actually like a you know I wouldn't say that's like a placebo. I think that actually has like some merit to it.
totally.
I'm
Yeah.
not a neuroscientist, like I can't really say for sure, but from what I've read into, like that seems like it's like that kind of
Hmm.
goes a step beyond placebo of being something that actually has like a direct kind of correlation.
Right. It's like physical association. I did that in when I was studying
Mm-hmm.
for way back when I was studying for the law school aptitude test or something like that. I think it's what it's called. It's like
Yeah.
a test you take before getting into law school. Like I did the same thing. I chewed, yeah. I don't even know what flavor it was. It was some like I think it was um what's the yellow one called? Not Starburst.
Juicy fruit.
Juicy fruit. Yeah.
Juicy fruit.
Yeah. I choose that. Like, first of all, I love the flavor. However, like 10 minutes in, the gum is done.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, man, I'm through a whole pack in a study session, and I'm like, man, my jaw is tired. I can't be chewing fresh gum so often, right? But maybe that's intentional. But anyways, for all those out there looking to kind of prime your body in these specific ways, having a little ritual before you perform is really important. That's why you'll see a lot of athletes, do the same prayer or whatever, because it gets them ready. You could do, a similar movement. I do the same movement before my jumps. It's a little 20-second routine, but I do it. And I've been doing it for years. And so now when I do it, it's like after I get through this little back and forth routine, I'm ready to go. And also I'm like, there's nothing going on in my mind. My mind is calm, like a calm day on the ocean. I don't see anything. Coach is like, what were you thinking? Nothing. Like I wasn't thinking anything, right? That's the point. And so if you can find ways to get yourself through that into that flow state, easier, do it. And I know we came a long way from vitamins to flow state, but that's the beauty of this podcast.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you do those things, you're taking your vitamins, you're taking the supplements you feel that are crucial to you, and when it comes down to your meet day, your game day, whatever performance you have, like that's gonna be one of those things that reassures you, and like
It's
that
true.
mental confidence is probably one of the most important parts of. I'd say it's probably, gosh, I said like 70-30, like 70% physical preparation, 30% mental, or maybe like a little bit
Hmm.
skewed more towards physical preparation, because honestly that's important, but the mindset is crucial too.
I don't know. I would think that I think at this level, my mindset is more important than whether my body is physically ready, because some of my best jumps I felt very tired, but I've just been like confident and okay, the next jump is gonna be it, right? And it just happens to
Yeah.
be. Um, so I think that your mental fortitude and just like where you are mentally, your mental presence in space is almost more important, because you can trick the body into doing things that it's never
Right.
done before. And most of my furthest jumps have been in a meet. Every now and then you'll have a crazy jump at practice and you're like, man, I wish I saved that for a meet. But there's something about that atmosphere that can get your mind in a mind right in a different way, which we've talked
Mhm.
about many times. That meet atmosphere is unparalleled. You can't create in practice, no matter how juiced up whatever song you're playing, your practice buddy clapping for you, you can't create it. And so I
Yeah,
think that that mental aspect, I think, is even more key, because when I look
yeah,
when I look over down the line and I see somebody kind of fretting over, they scratched twice and they're a little shaky, I'm like, oh man, another one down. Just kidding. I love, every jumper I jump with. However, you can tell the energy when someone is really worried about the next jump. It usually doesn't become a good jump.
Mhm.
But you can feel that confidence when someone walks up on the runway, they start their clap, they get their little rock in, and they run down the track, and you're like, oh, this looks good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then it pops up and everyone's like, oh yeah. And then he looks back and he's like, I know what I just did. Right. You can feel that.
yeah,
And you can also
absolutely,
feel when people are nervous.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that nervous energy that was me this whole last year, just
Mm,
kind of showing up to meets, hoping for the best, but not really being confident in the fact that I could do that. So yeah, maybe I got to start taking. I'm gonna start taking some vitamins, some supplements. So when
do
I
it.
walk onto the track on meet day come spring, I'm gonna be like, man, I took my vitamins today. I'm
That's
here.
right.
I'm ready. I'm ready to roll.
Athletic Greens, please sponsor us. I take you every day. Sometimes twice a day if I'm like eating particularly poorly. Um,
I'll start. I mean, say
yeah,
you want to sponsor me, man. I'll do whatever.
that's right. We are open to sponsorships. So, whether it's Athletic Greens or Crunchyroll or, you know, the U.S. Olympic Committee, we'll take them all. So, yeah, with that, I think, do you have any updates you want to give to the people before we sign out?
Oh man, uh, not really. I mean, I've just been grinding really
Mm-hmm.
hard. Uh, I'm itching for you to start doing the same so we can share in the agony and the misery of those hard practices together.
Man,
But yeah, I'm just down here just ripping it.
right
That's what
on.
I'm doing. Yeah,
Well, I'm itching to get back to the track. I'm really,
yeah.
really, really um trying to be smart with how quickly I get back, just because, I just really wasn't this past season. And I just
Mm,
it just was kind of a bonehead and disregarded my body and kept pushing through. And, now I just really want to give it time to heal, because our season starts December 22nd, which is way sooner than I thought it was going to start. So,
yeah. We're gonna think about that.
I mean, yeah. So, for the people who are curious as to why I say that date specifically, that's when the track and field league, the professional track and field league, in which Zach and I are both drafted into, that's the first day allegedly that we have a meet. So that's the inaugural day. Obviously, we can't miss it, and we need to be at least able to run down the runway and jump. So that's my goal. That's my hit date. I'm not trying to PR that day, and in fact, I hope I don't. Um, because if I do, then, I think I'm pushing it a little too hard, too early. But anyways,
Yeah,
like,
but like how crazy that would be moving into the spring. It's like, man, I just did that.
it's true.
Now in the spring, I'm gonna do this.
All right, let me
Hey.
walk that back. I can't wait to PR December 22nd. Um,
Yeah, let's go.
yeah, so anyways, so yeah, like, I guess updates on my end. Yeah, I'm itching to get back. I'm hoping to see my doctor next week and have him say, "Yeah, dude, you're ready." It is not 100%. I can, like, feel it if I move it in certain ways, but maybe that just means I don't run 100%, but I can at least do some tempo runs, stuff like that. And updates on Couro, we got more pros on, more individuals coming on every day. We got some jump specific people on. So if you want more jump stuff, you can subscribe to me and Zach or a couple other jump creators. You don't have to just subscribe to us, although we would really appreciate it. And so yeah, Couro is up and running and ready. Go ahead and go to Couro.fit, check out the website, hit that try beta link, subscribe to Zach, and then you can also check out the challenge that I challenged Zach at, and we'll see
That
if he
I
can do it.
filmed today.
Ah,
I filmed it today, and I'm posting it. And it's my turn to challenge you.
oh,
So I'm going to think of a challenge, and I'm going to post it when I got the chance.
looking
But I
forward
did
to
film
it.
it. Yeah,
Right
it won't be
on.
a back and forth.
Yeah, and if you want to challenge us, go ahead and sign up, throw in a challenge,
Step up.
and step up, show me something. Let's see if we can do it too. I will attempt all challenges as long as they are safe and legal. Um, those are the only things that I need. Anything else, I will try. So go ahead and get your challenges in, and the next the next little podcast will be we'll have a guest, special guest. No need to say who it is, but we will have a special guest. So stay tuned to that. Probably dropping in a few days. So with
Yeah,
that,
this kind of turned it from being a mini pod into a full legit pod. So we have a fully grown pod. But next time, yeah, tune in as our first guest. That's pretty
mhm,
exciting. And the second Couro Pro
that's right.
athlete.
That is right. And so with that little teaser, we appreciate you for listening this far, and we'll catch you next time.